just let me know. We're trying to do at least one a month. So just email me at my typical Embarc Collective email, and we'll get you all set up. Cool. Cool. Go for
I didn't realize this was the first one.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, benefits of being a consumer app. Okay. Well, Liz, obviously, thank you guys so much for inviting us here to do a quick presentation. The thing that honestly gets me most excited about, being able to give this demo is the fact that we've obviously been live in the market for a couple of years now, but what we recently came out with Two's Pals really does feel like the most unique and beneficial differentiator in a productivity app. So today, a lot of what we're going to do is just kind of talk about our journey, things that we learned along the way, how we came up with this feature, a little bit of behind the scenes on the tech, and yeah, just kind of take your questions. But really, I think the most important thing to emphasize from a high level is Two's is intended to be an app to help you organize your life, get more done, act more efficiently. And so for entrepreneurs especially, we know for a fact that it can be highly, highly beneficial. So we would love y'all's feedback related to the presentation, related to the tool, because if you feel, a little bit disorganized or scattered amongst systems, we really hope that Two's can be a valuable resource to you. But obviously, thank you guys again so much for coming. So we're gonna go ahead and kick off the Prezi with a little bit about ourselves. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it over to Parker, aka Two's Baller, to tell you about how he started building Two's.
Hello, my name's Parker. I studied computer science at Vanderbilt. I started building Two's at the time when I was there. I had never built a mobile app or a web app before, so it was the first thing I was ever building, and it came with a lot of learnings. After that, I worked at Qualcomm. I worked at a tech startup in Austin where I met Joseph. I worked at Google, and then I quit my job, and we're Two's the baby. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about, kind of the inspiration and the writing things down element of it all?
Yeah, I had depression in college, and my mentor at college said, talk to people to feel better. I'm an introvert, that's why I'm not making eye contact with any of y'all. And I would, look at me. I would just type in Google Docs. I would write a lot in paper, and I experienced a lot of benefits through, expressing these feelings, and also just professionally writing down goals, accomplishing goals, and I just loved writing things down. And I realized that I was writing a lot of things down, but nobody around me knew anything because I wouldn't talk to them. So I thought of a platform where, what if we could allow people to write anything down and remember anything about their lives, but then easily share some of the things, not everything. And that was kind of the idea behind Two's. It was two-sided, private, public, write things down privately, share some things publicly. And that was what I got really excited about. And it's just been 3 versions of the platform. We removed the social aspect in one of them, but now we are just building the best place to write things down, regardless of what it is.
Regardless of what it is. So, Parker is obviously the brains behind the operation, started building this way back in the day as it relates to Vanderbilt and, using writing as a way to cope with his depression. Now, you guys may have heard us say the word things a lot. It's actually really interesting how Parker's initial idea to build a half private, half social platform led to a very unique technology in things. Things are individual pieces of information that are very different from rich text. If you've ever used rich text, then you understand that, you highlight specific words or sentences, you copy and paste it to, the bottom or the top of a particular page. But with Two's, each individual thing that you write down is its own movable, shareable, and, AI detectable entity. And so if we didn't have things, we wouldn't have a platform. There's nothing to Two's that's more important to understand than how these individual pieces of information are significantly more easy, fast, and smart than text. So obviously we'll spend a lot of time on the demo related to that, but I just want to make sure to, bring the loop home in the fact that what Parker initially wanted to create was the ability to share individual pieces of his life. That's what came out with this technology, things.
And really remember all of these little pieces. Like, there's so many moments where you meet somebody or someone tells you something, and there's like the idea behind things is to capture these little things, like capture these things throughout your life and have them to look back on and remember forever. So I've been using it since I started creating it 9 years ago, and it's amazing the things that I've been able to capture and remember just because of this platform built for this. I don't think that there is anything like it to remember these things that happen throughout your day. Some people might use Apple Notes for it. Some people might text themselves or send emails. It's a very unique platform for writing things down.
So you may be asking yourself, how did a strapping young gentleman such as myself end up on this crazy journey? It actually is pretty, out of any other better way of explaining it, it's kind of unreal how right around the same time that Parker was building twos and we were at this startup in Austin together, my dad had actually just recommended to me that I write things down to take control of my ADHD. So ADHD is something that I was diagnosed with when I was 13. And if you guys are familiar, it really, one of the main symptoms is an endless stream of thoughts. There's just like no stopping to, kind of what comes up in my mind at any given moment. And really it was something that kind of plagued me for a long time because it has its benefits in the fact that I don't really think before I speak. So that kind of makes me a little bit more, communically able. But when it comes to like being by myself and thinking of things I need to do and ideas that I have, writing genuinely was like a life-changing benefit that I learned very early on, just thanks to my dad. I had graduated college and I said, hey, what do I do? I'm not getting ahead. And he was like, you need to write things down. So I bought red and black notebooks. I wrote everything down from stand-up jokes to, things I need to do to people I was meeting. And so then when I met Parker at this startup in Austin and he said, I'm building the best place to write things down, I was like, all right, prove it. So, next thing you know, I started using twos, and 5 years later, I think I've used it consecutively for 3 years at least. So that's kind of a little bit how like writing things down is kind of the main core benefit that we want people to realize. So how we got to Tampa, I was actually working as a I was working for a venture capital. No, not venture capital. What was I working for?
Private equity.
Private equity. Thank you. Can you tell that venture capital is always on my mind? So private equity, I was working for a private equity firm, which was actually exactly what I wanted to do with my career. I had started in the real estate space, got a call saying, hey, do you want to move to Tampa to start underwriting these apartment buildings? And I was like, yeah, sounds great. When I called Parker to tell him about the news, because we had just become friends at that point and we were moonlighting on twos, he said, I've never been to Tampa. Can I come with? I was like, well, you just saved me $600 a month in rent, so absolutely you can come with me. So that's how we kind of moved into the same apartment, and then Parker decided to quit his job at Google, and next thing you know, we were doing twos full time. And exactly like Parker said, we've seen so much amazing benefit from writing things down in our own personal lives that our vision is and always will be building the best place to write things down. That's kind of what it looks like.
North Star.
I love telling the Embarc story, so I'll tell the Embarc story really quick. We had been in Tampa for a year and had no idea what we were doing. We literally were just sitting in our apartment day in, day out, staring at each other, staring at the wall and going, okay, what do we do? There wasn't a whole lot of answers. But when we had gotten clue of Embarc, we were sure that we weren't going to get in. We were like, this group is like the most prestigious and amazing, and we're just a small tech platform with 500 daily active users. Like it was, a mountain that we were sure we weren't going to be able to climb. But next thing you know, we had met with Liz, we met with Dan, we met with Lakshmi. They let us in, and we were like, worst mistake they've ever made. And so now being able to be here doing this demo is amazing. Embarc actually connected us with Tampa Bay Ventures, which funded us for our pre-seed round, gave us the opportunity to continue to build the platform full-time, We've got a lot of earned media. We won Product of the Day in July of 2023. That's, largely thanks to our community, which is on the live stream right now. So shout out you guys. But it's been a lot of iteration. It's been a lot of testing. And something that I always love to point out is that my mom actually is a daily active user. And so without her and her support, we wouldn't be here today. But yeah, that's the idea behind Tampa. So, as far as writing things down, you guys may be shocked to hear or not shocked to hear that when you kind of bring that up as a unique benefit to people, they roll their eyes at you and they kind of glaze over and they go, okay, dude, I've got notebooks, I've got Apple Notes, I've got Evernote, I've got Notion. What makes you special? And for 2 years, full time, like almost as stubborn as a bull, we'd say, well, it's not as fast, all in one, and simple as twos. And they'd go, okay, I still don't care. So we had to come up with something drastic in order to make sure that we could really break out from the noise. And that's when we went up to Connecticut / New Hampshire / Maine. Where did we even go to Connecticut? It wasn't Connecticut, was it? It's not Connecticut. Yeah, it's not Connecticut at all. But so we went up to Massachusetts and we came up with our new differentiator, which we refer to as personal active lists, aka PALs. And PALs is a part of action-based note-taking. So what we noticed very early on in our journey with all of our users is that they loved Twos for its magic moments. So some of the early features that we had instituted was auto detect reminder setting. When you wrote down dates and times, it would help you set a reminder. When you made to-dos, they'd automatically carry over to tomorrow. That is what our users were telling us their biggest benefit was from using Twos. So we had to come up with more magic moments. And that's exactly what we did with PALs. Yep, and we will demo PALs to you guys in just a little bit, but I'm going to kick it over to Parker to talk a little bit about the problem.
Okay. Yeah. So, we all have a lot of things going on in our lives. That's kind of the whole point about writing things down, is to help us organize these things and remember things better and not be overwhelmed by the 6,000 thoughts that we have every single day, according to a Stanford study. So yeah, and as entrepreneurs, y'all probably have even more than that, because it's not a typical job where you have a single role and you just play your role and then you leave at 5 o'clock and you play with your dog. As an entrepreneur, you've got so many things going on, so much information to keep track of. Things are constantly popping up. So we really were just trying to make it even more frictionless into accomplishing some of these things. That's kind of what the PALs, or like the active portion of PALs is I write something down and we try to help you take the next step. It's basically like using AI to accomplish things for you, or just make it so you don't have to do as much work as you may have used to needed to do. Did I cover everything?
Yeah, I think that's great.
I don't know if that helped.
Yep. Well, and so something that I just want to quickly point out is that we actually got a really great compliment early on with our PALs feature, in the fact that it's one of the most useful forms of consumer AI at this point, because really we don't require anything additional of the user. You just write things down in twos like you would any other notes app, and we provide smart suggestions that help you get where you're going. So you'll see 3 examples on the screen right now. For example, when you write down locations or addresses, you can get directions on Google Maps or relevant open table links. If you write down birthdays, then you can set a yearly repeating reminder, or even generate a text to tell somebody happy birthday, all from the same place. And last but not least, if you have travel plans, you're able to write down where you're going, what you need to acquire, whether it be a flight or a hotel, and Twos will automatically give you direct link outs to those websites to book those reservations. So why does this matter? It matters because we have these thoughts every single day. We know the things we need to do. We know the plans that we have coming up, but we don't necessarily want or need to act on them in the immediate. right? So when you know that you need to book a flight to Boston, you can now just write it down and trust that twos will help you get to where you're going when you revisit that note, essentially. And as a matter of fact, enough talking about PALS. We're just going to kind of show you guys all of what it can do in its first iteration, and then we will...
I just realized it's not going to go up there.
What isn't? Oh!
Yeah,
That's a good point. What do we do? Well, we aren't going to be able to demo to the Zoom. At least I don't think. Unless, can we do that? And can we screen share from it? Will you join the Zoom on your phone and I'll do this one?
We can't do both at the same time.
You can on this one.
Okay.
Let me go over here. Yeah, perfect. Free to download. Just go into the App Store and search the word twos.
Give it a go right now.
Well, hold on. Okay, that's you. And now, Liz, where is the Zoom link? In Slack? Anywhere else? Here, let me actually... I got it.
Why is this not updating here?
What? Technical difficulties, guys. We're coming in hot. Hopefully. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, why is that not working? Here, let's just remove this. What just happened? Thank you guys for your patience. Give me just one more second here. Baller, what did you do for iPhone mirroring? It was something that I hadn't seen. Because mine was like called window capture, and yours is.
It's like Mac window or something like that. Yeah.
But then what?
Just do whatever. You know, with the gas.
There we go.
Oh.
Nope. There we go.
No, but it's gonna.
That's fine. And now,
Is that it?
yeah. Perfect. Make it a little smaller. Okay.
That's what it's about.
To who? In Slack. I don't even have Slack on there. I don't. All right. Well,
I don't even think I have Slack.
can you read it to us, Liz? How long of a code is it?
Oh my gosh.
I got it.
Yeah.
790
Yeah.
29321.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, enough dilly-dallying. You would think that the tech guys would be good at tech stuff, but you would be surprised. All right. So what I want to do here now, guys, is just kind of make this the interactive portion of our demo. I just want to hear, generally speaking, for those of you who write things down or use other tools, do you have any general ideas of things that you need to write down every day? I can get us kicked off. To-dos, recommendations, movies. Is there anything that you guys feel like you need to write down every day or often, specifically? Shopping list, that's great.
Oh.
Will you Actually, no, it's fine. Okay, so let's use that shopping list as a great starting example. Here I have, obviously, oh, baller, so yeah, you're just going to follow me.
Sure.
So as it relates to a shopping list, we obviously have things that we need to buy for our shopping list. Does anybody have a particular example? Like, let's just go with, what did you say? Expensive eggs, okay.
Is that a thing?
So you guys will notice that when I wrote down eggs, we get these little purple diamonds that now give you the ability of seeing where you can purchase these items. So if I click over to Walmart, for example, that'll open up the Walmart app or Walmart in your browser, and you actually have the ability of going straight to that listing. Another example of things that we need to buy is...
Oh, we're double timing.
Yeah. How do I...
It works on all of your devices. You can use it on the web as well, and it will sync immediately.
Baller, how do I,
What?
get back to... Okay, I'll just click twos up here. Perfect. More things that we need to buy. Let's just go with Post-its.
What are some of your favorite things? Do you have any favorite things?
Okay, coffee. Perfect.
It doesn't even need to be a...
Coffee is another great example, and obviously we get the diamonds, and then we can actually view those items on Amazon.
We're gonna, yeah. All right.
So there's that. And let's go with something that isn't necessarily a grocery item. Anybody have an idea? Maybe let's just go with a sweatshirt. Toilet paper.
That's a great one. Need that.
So you guys will notice, and then also I'll give one more example here as to kind of how PALs work. So that's products. What we're doing right now is we are trying to identify what is being written down and then giving you the relevant links. But in the event that there is not a relevant link to be offered, like for example, having a rough start to the demo at Embarc, you guys will notice that that does not generate a smart suggestion.
But
and
potentially, let's see how good it is.
for just Embarc Collective, maybe Tampa.
If you write down places or things where you're gonna go, or even companies, you never know what's gonna pop up in a meeting or something. It will kind of you can get directions to the place or look up what the website is. It's kind of this reducing friction of you might write things down in one place and then you have to rewrite it, or you have to copy and paste it into a browser or whatever it may be. We're just kind of reducing the amount of steps to do almost anything. One user recently said to me that it's kind of like a natural language processor for life, which is super nerdy, but I thought that was an interesting way of thinking about it. So it's even things like, let's see, dinner at Oak and Ola at 7 p.m. on a Friday. Rather than, we've all been, you open up the calendar app and then you gotta create the event and then you gotta, mess with all the fields, or, okay, maybe this isn't going on my calendar, maybe this is in a reminders app or it's on my clock app. Rather than having to make all the decisions and do all the steps, this is just writing things down however you would normally write them down. And you can do things like add a reminder for it. If I had a calendar connected currently, it would give me the add it to my calendar for the specific time. Oh, I also get, the directions to it when I need to get there. It is kind of just this more seamless way of accomplishing many things that you would potentially want to accomplish just by writing, essentially.
And so just some more examples. Obviously, as entrepreneurs, we have a lot of things we need to do. So if I were to say let's go with call Tim tomorrow at 9 a.m., for example, that would not only get picked up as a reminder, so once again, just getting a notification to your phone to follow up with Tim, but also the ability to turn it into a to-do. So to-dos automatically get carried over day by day if you leave them unfinished, as compared to if you were to finish these things, then you can check them off by tapping inside of the circle. And that is another really great example for entrepreneurs because obviously you guys have a lot of things that you need to do.
The example, just so people can see, was just like call Tim. And you can write that down. These are things. You can see the dash next to it. It doesn't have to be a dash. It could be literally nothing. But this is something that you would potentially want to do, so we just provide a smart suggestion to turn it into a to-do, and then you'd get the benefits of it carrying over, finding all of your to-dos in one place, because it's not just a task manager, it's really just like this all-in-one life organizer, which can replace.
And as a matter of fact, I obviously did do some canned examples here, so Baller, if you want to open up the side menu so that the people in the audience in Zoom can see. These are the second and most organized part of twos, referred to as lists. Lists are literally, very universally friendly. Lists are just an organization of like things. So your day is just the quickest place for you to write things down, whatever they may be. But then when and if you want to organize them into lists, you can take things from your day. So Baller, if you'll go back to today, and you'll select toilet paper, or actually select something else. Perfect, and then just move it to one of our lists. And I'm gonna select toilet paper and I'm gonna move it to...
Important it is.
Perfect, that's fine. Why not? Buy toilet paper. So the whole idea there is that when you create a list, you can collect all of your like things in one place that is also very easily shared with others. You can share your lists via a universal link. You can send it in the messages really easily with one tap. But let's take a look at some more general list examples so that you guys can see some other smart suggestions, integrations. If we go into our books to read list, when we tap on the diamonds, we'll see Amazon and Goodreads. And as a matter of fact, I wish James was here, but I practiced this yesterday. We write things down like Presentation Hell, which is James' book, and all you need to do is make sure that it has all of the necessary info, but then you can actually go straight to Goodreads to see Presentation Hell right there. And then the only last example that I want to show you guys before I go into my twos and just kind of show you what it can look like once you really get into using it more frequently. In the movies to watch list, we have, all of these different movies that like maybe somebody would suggest to you. For Oppenheimer, you tap on the diamonds and it'll give you the streaming information or the IMDb. And then also you can create sublists. So for startup specific movies, The Social Network, for example, once again, if I just tap on where to watch, then it opens up The Social Network and tells you that I can stream it for free on Prime Video. So that is, generally speaking, what lists that do things for you means. Now, if I'm not mistaken, all I want to do is go into my personal twos account and just show you guys kind of what it looks like when you get into a habit of using twos.
You want me to do that as well?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. So here, the differences that you're going to notice between what I was just showing you guys in the demo account versus what we have here is that first and foremost, a calendar is connected. So when your calendar is connected, you have the ability of joining your Zoom meetings with one tap. You also can set up very unique reminders. So for example, I have a HelloFresh subscription. If I don't change my HelloFresh subscription, then they send me a box of food that I don't want. So every week, I make sure to remind myself to make changes to my HelloFresh. I also recently got AMC A-List, so that's something that I need to remember to, kind of book tickets to the movie theaters. You'll notice that I have these to-dos that are, rolling over day to day. And again, pals are super helpful, like when it relates to writing down concerts. Like we have Lil Wayne concert tickets here, and obviously links to Ticketmaster and StubHub. And then, this is just a broad example of things that, someone would write down on their day. And as Parker was emphasizing, over years, what you'll do is you'll just end up having a collection of these thoughts and memories. So in 2021, I went to Austin. In 2022, there was an omelet brunch at the Pearl. In 2023, I went and saw Pirates of the Caribbean at the lawn of Armature Works. And in 2024, let's see what was going on then.
I think you mean nothing.
Yeah, I wonder why. I checked this before and it did. There it is. Oh, 8 years ago on January 23rd, I lost my 2 front teeth. So yeah, literally. I was pushed down on the sidewalk and I lost my 2 front teeth. So 8 years ago today. That's a fun one. But yeah, all right, let me just go back to our general notes. Does anybody have any questions, any thoughts? Evan, sorry that we didn't get to you a lot earlier.
I'm just thinking about how I would obviously continue to apply this because I am a user. But like if you're putting down the question like, okay, I've got a long list of things that I need to buy at Lowe's.
Love it.
Right? If I have like a Lowe's list, I write down all the things in Lowe's, is there a future potential or is it already there where like you could do that whole thing for that list?
Yeah.
Put you into
Yeah.
the
Add all to cart.
exactly where, okay.
So, just to repeat Evan's question for the live stream, the question is related to lists. If we create a list of all the things that we need to buy from a particular store, like Publix or Lowe's or Home Depot, can we use PALs to add all of these things to our cart and then just, check out in one fail swoop? Baller?
Yeah, this is something that we're kind of just getting to, I would say. It's not currently available, but a big topic in the tech community right now, and hope soon the world, is what they refer to as AI agents, which is essentially you can have do work for you. It'll probably come with something like that. We've talked about being able to integrate directly with platforms that you use in order to just make orders for you. There's obviously some scary things that could potentially happen there. But when I think of that example, I think of it as essentially like an AI agent where we would detect that is what you want, and then you just, almost with a single button, you'd be like, fulfill this order or whatever.
Or like in like Instacart or something where it's like after you've checked out or like you're about to check out, you can like have an alternate thing. So it's all, it would be cool to be able to like, okay, I need to buy these 7 things. It brings me to, even if it's within twos or in Lowe's, and it's like, okay, actually I want a bigger size or I need
Right.
to swap it or something.
Yeah, and some potentially like a verification, like, hey, we are ready to do this. Does this look good for you? Well, I think that it's directly where we're going. I think that,
I forgot that
and it is
streaming.
kind of how we think about how we think about the future of what does the best place to write things down look like. There's definitely an aspect to that where it's like I am just writing a bunch of things down and I probably want to accomplish something. How do we make it as smart as possible to do that for you? Like, if you don't necessarily need to be doing all of that.
The last example.
We have another question.
Oh, perfect. What's up, Ethan?
I have a question.
Oh.
Yep.
My name's Jesus.
How you doing, Jesus?
My question is for users, for potential users who may not have a habit of writing things down.
Yep.
How do you get them to adopt a tool like this, right? So like, they're not the type that write things down or just like they think about these things, but like how do you actually, how would you get them to adopt the tool?
Repeat the question.
If we had, okay. The question is, for new people that aren't used to having a habit of writing things down, how do we get them to adopt the tool and get into the habit of writing more things down? If we had that answer, we would be billionaires. No. I think that is the biggest thing for us. And whenever I talk to users who are kind of on that journey, I tell them to start as small as possible. Like, it really is, it is a habit. It turns into a habit where, we don't even think about it anymore. It's like whenever we have anything that we want to remember, anything that we want to write down, we don't have to physically make the decision, okay, time to write it down in twos. We just do it because it's a habit. So it's kind of like start as small as possible and just slowly get to it. We could implement things like push notifications or things like that. We do kind of think that's kind of hijacking people's own control, so we kind of steer away from that, or we do steer away from that. But yeah.
Sorry. There are 2 examples that I just want to quickly get to, because on your screen, actually over here, not on the live stream, but I'll get to that in just a second. I wrote down this thought literally this morning at 8:44 a.m. Our early adopters are people who want to write more things down, like how they felt, on a day-to-day basis, or like what they thought about the pizza so that they can buy more. So really with pals, the whole idea is that we're trying to create those magic moments, those aha moments when it comes to writing things down. So for example, when I write down, Baller, will you do New York pizza? And the whole idea is that, like, because this is something that, is this working? Why is that not working?
You gotta be on the device.
Cool. Oh yeah, did that work? Are we seeing this?
Yeah.
And why did it not? Let's just put in Tampa. The whole idea is that if we can create an experience where when you wrote something down, you're able to remember it, you're able to share it, you're able to like have an opportunity come up from it, then we like to believe that by making writing things down more beneficial to your daily life, like being able to get directions or Uber Eats for New York pizza, then that's just going to be a natural, kind of like benefit that you achieve from having written something down. And so our hope is really just to make it so that, when you have these thoughts through the experience of writing them down, you just live a better, easier, faster life.
Yeah, you're excited by it. Like, I don't know, that's something that we talk about a lot is how you can measure the impact of writing things down, and it's a very hard thing other than moments where you actually are able to remember something, and then it creates like an opportunity to interact with someone or to accomplish something that you may have otherwise forgotten. So it's a difficult thing to be like, no, you just got to trust us. Just start writing things down and your life's going to be better. It is a challenge.
The last example of pals before we get into the future, because actually we did get a question in the live chat about, like suggesting places to organize things, so on and so forth. As entrepreneurs, you guys meet a lot of people. So when it comes to writing things down, like people's names and phone numbers, if I write down Joe Stylberg, joe@twozap.com, and then a phone number. And this is just one more smart suggestion example of how now I can just simply create a contact and it'll pull over all the information, Joe Stylberg, mobile number, and work email address.
This is, yeah. Sure. I guess somehow it did it.
Cool. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit. Now we're going to stop the demo portion unless anybody else has any kind of particular questions about, examples or use cases.
Yeah, so if you're adding down, like call Tim was the example that you guys used. Is there an integration for it to pull into your contacts with the AI and suggest like, did you need this Tim, and link the number in that way for the call?
Not currently. We actually don't integrate with contacts at this time.
Except for creating contact cards. And when it comes to, if you write down Tim's phone number or email address, it does create the opportunity of actually calling them directly from. So obviously, that's something that we definitely look to create. We're actually probably going to improve our social side of Twos to be all based around contacts. So when it does communicate with contacts, it will be able to read names and it will be able to call and text those people.
Yeah, this is very new for us. We actually silently put it out to all users
Last week.
maybe this week. So yeah, we're just kind of on this very start. We appreciate the questions and kind of like the suggestions about where this can go.
And most importantly, our goal is still just to build the best place to write things down. So these ideas are literally like what is going to be the future of Twos, because our vision, our goal is explicitly to make it such that that experience is easier for you. Like when you need to remember to call Tim tomorrow, we want to give you the easiest way to do it. 100%. Question?
So, just trying to recall exactly. I think that you had mentioned it's both. You're looking for both the private side and kind of the sharing side. Is there a way to share things that you write down right now?
Is there a way to what?
To share things that you write down?
Yeah.
Select what you want to share.
Yes. So we do.
The question was about sharing
We
things.
do sharing at essentially two levels, which is things and lists. That's all that Twos is. So if I wanted to share an individual thing, you can just select said thing or select multiple things if you wanted multiple things. And you'll see the little share button at the bottom. But you can publish these things to what we refer to as Two's World. That is kind of like the social side. You can think of it essentially as Twitter. So Two's is kind of like a private Twitter where you write things down privately and then share some of those things. You can copy the text. You can send it as a text message. Just take the text. But as far as list sharing, there's
Sharing a list via a universal link. You can also publish a list,
I'm in Joe's now.
and or you can also collaborate on lists so
So
that
yeah.
people can add to lists.
Yeah, you can see that
Tap it.
there's some there, but just for sharing a list itself, you can share it in multiple ways, which is via a link that anybody can access, which is pretty nice. You can obviously publish it to Twitter or publish it to Two's World, my bad. You can print it out, but then you can also just collaborate with people and other people that you're associated with.
Do they need to have the app
Mm-mm.
in order to collaborate?
In order to collaborate, yes, but in order to view the list via the universal link, no.
Okay.
It can be viewed on
If
any.
they wanna make edits, they have to have the app.
Actually, we did just come out with a feature recently that's that's called Public Edit. So technically speaking, you do have the ability of adding to a list even if you're not a collaborator on it, so long as you turn on that little toggle inside of the list settings for Public Edit. And I'll show that to the
So
live
you
stream
could-
as well.
You could send a list out to people, and they don't even need Two's, and they could actually edit and add things to your list or whatever it may be, which can be nice for like a family
Yeah.
event or a friend's event
Why do I not have Public Edit?
where they might not have it. It's not public.
Ah, this list is not public, therefore I can't public edit it. That makes sense. All right, well, I'll just show that really quick for the people on the live stream. Thank you guys very much for your questions. Anything else real quick that we can answer in terms of demos, use cases? I mean, I'd also be happy to answer any, like, what I still don't care, why, or something along those lines. What's going on?
I probably spend 50% of my time in my notebook processing and 50% time jotting things down. People who do a lot of processing in their notes, how does that fit into Two's?
Baller, do you want to field that?
Is processing
Also
like
repeat the question if you don't
I would
mind.
say like long form note taking, like just like writing out your thoughts in a long form way.
Yeah, so I don't if my Two's was connected, I would just show you.
I have one
I
example. I wrote down a dream
do that
this morning.
every day. I long form journal in Two's every day, but then you can also just use it as like a long form brainstorming on any type of topic that you would want to be thinking about.
Just like your whole entry for the day is just like one bullet.
Yeah, it's just
Exactly.
one long thing.
So on
and it doesn't have to be a bullet. You can actually have it be a note, and I might be in the way here. But a note is just more plain text, and you can actually set it up to where, like, things are the thing about Two's is like this quick capture of these things, and it's what allows us to give the smart suggestions, because you're not dealing with a document where it's like where's the start and where's the stop of the smart suggestion essentially. But you can set it up to where you can write into like you would typically write in a document in notes essentially.
And the last thing, as far as like writing these things down in long form, just as they come to your mind, really throughout the day, one of the biggest benefits of Two's and these things is that you can select things and you can actually move them to appropriate lists. So here on the screen, you'll notice that I have the dream that I wrote down this morning, which literally Tim Holcomb was in, which was just random and crazy. My dreams don't mean anything, by the way, so there's nothing, salacious in that. It's just a bunch of random thoughts like somebody would put in a journal. But then when you click this little blue moving truck, I actually have a list dedicated to, thank you, Baller. I have a list dedicated to dreams, and so it actually jumps off of my day and into a list.
I'm not gonna do it because it's gonna.
Whatever.
Okay.
And so then when I visit my list, once again, it is a collection of all of these random dreams that I've had starting when, let's see,
And
body control patches that made it impossible to leave the house. Okay, that's fucked up.
just to share a
Respectfully.
little of my own personal experience with writing things in Two's, I used to journal in a physical notebook, and I stopped doing that and started doing it in twos because I just love the accessibility of it. I love to be able to like find it wherever I am. I don't need to be at my journal. I will be reminded of it with the features in twos that help you remember or help you remind you of things. Where like I don't know how often you would typically open a notebook that you stored somewhere or whatever it may be. So it's just kind of this, I don't know, technology can give you so many benefits to it. Like the ability to share it with other people easily and things like that. So I personally get a lot more value out of using a technology platform than notebooks.
And the memories, I think, is something that really is very important when it relates to these random bits of quick capture and inspiration. Because we are associated with days, that means that we know, like, a year ago today, you had this dream or you had this thought. So in other applications where unless you actively are going and looking for the things that you had written down at one point, with twos, it just they automatically resurface, and that might spark inspiration for something that you were thinking or journaling about a year ago. And it just like kind of shows you the growth that you've had in your life and stuff. But alas, that
you can also use AI on it, which is another thing that I get a lot of value out of. I'll journal, and then I have this custom AI prompt that will basically act as a life coach and will like tell me things to do based on the things that I've journaled or whatever it may be.
Will you take over the
Or like
presentation again?
paper doesn't have those types of capabilities.
All right, we've said a lot of things about twos. Now let's just quickly talk about the future of twos and why we're maybe so bullish on this. Baller, do you wanna hit that real quick?
Sure. So we actually have a patent we have a provisional patent. We will be working on the patent this year. But we have a provisional patent on the technology behind writing things down, using AI to categorize the thing that you're writing, and then converting that into intelligent information or links and things like that. So that's kind of how the technology works. There's a lot of AI behind it. We use OpenAI API, which doesn't get trained on. It's very private. So that's kind of the personal aspect of PALS, is like we take privacy and security and all of those things very seriously. And with the future of PALS, Smart Suggestions, what we've been demoing is essentially the first feature that we decided to build of this overarching PALS or personal active lists. So we will be coming out with a chat with your twos, which we see in a lot of different applications currently today. It's a little different when it's connected to what could be your brain. Like, it would be great if you could just chat with your notebook or chat with wherever you're writing things down.
And it works. One of our users actually created an early version of Chat with Twos, and I've been using it pretty extensively. I literally asked it this morning, what was my favorite restaurant in Bilbao for my trip last year. It literally picked up the restaurants that I ate at in Bilbao. So the whole idea is that the more you start contributing to this database, Jesus, back to your question, the more you get into this habit, the more that you'll have to pull from in the future. So when you write down, the people that you meet at Embarc, who was that guy who owns the boats company at Embarc? You don't need to remember any particular part. It'll just be like, it's probably Ethan. So that's the future of twos. That's the future of the best place to write things down, is being able to not even necessarily remember these keywords, but just be able to find things. What was that concert I wanted to go to with Rob? You wanted to go to Lil Wayne with Rob. And it's like, okay, that's exactly what it is.
And then the other one on the right is kind of like a self-organizing thing where you write something down and it's essentially like, this probably belongs to this list, because you may quickly capture things on today, but we don't all want to do all of the work of organizing things. So that having some sort of self-organizing is a part of PALS, or even sending a request to be like, can you put together a list of all the movies that I've wanted to see, or all the books that I've wanted to read that you've collected over many years. Kind of features around like that, which is all around this PALS personal active lists.
Two's is the only productivity platform that is categorizing information just based on a generality and then helping you pull it all together. Like that is literally, we are the only people that have come up with this up until this point, obviously, and that's what we did try to patent. So the whole idea there is that we are recognizing what is a book title to then be able to say, create a list of all the book titles or all the things that I can buy at Lowe's. That is, you just write them down and we help you pull them together. We love Lowe's. All right, so the last couple of things that we want to show you guys is we want to talk a little bit about our go-to-market strategy. So we're going to be launching on Product Hunts again sometime relatively soon. We did get a lot of earned media in The Verge and TechCrunch relatively recently, and we're updating all of our, App Store presence. We are doing marketing experimentation, but as a consumer app, we just need to make this as simple and easy to understand for people to realize what the benefit of using Two's is as compared to another note-taking platform. And so while before that was, it's more organized than Apple Notes, it's faster than Notion, now it's, we literally help you get things done just by writing them down. So that's what we're leaning in on. That's what obviously is getting picked up by earned media. We listen to our users, we listen to what people are getting excited about, and that is what our vision is for our go-to-market strategy. This is the final portion of our demo here, guys. The really exciting news is that Two's is live. We are very accessible, not only around Embarc, but also via email and phone. And so we really, really, really value y'all's feedback. I think that the most important thing to emphasize is our vision is to build the best place to write things down. We're not going to force any features particularly down your throat. And so what that means is, are you enjoying it? Like, if you have a habit with writing things down currently, then how does it feel to write things down in Two's? Do you feel like smart suggestions are, helping you build that habit? If you have the time to play around with it and let us know what your thoughts are, we would obviously very much appreciate that. And then last but not least, we have come to realize after 3 years of working on this full time, we need help. We need marketing experts, we need designers, we need, we need AI experts. There's a list, no surprise, of things that we believe that we need in order to really help this break out and become a universally applicable tool. So if you have any thoughts on people that you would like to connect us with as it relates to just consumer software experts and or marketing experts, and alternatively, we are in the middle of a fundraise right now, and the ultimate goal of that fundraise will be to build out the team. You are looking at everyone that is involved with Two's right now, and it does have over 15,000 active users currently, which we've acquired completely organically, but that's not going to be the way that we become Apple-sized. So the goal is to, break out of that threshold. And so if you know anyone or would be willing to offer us feedback, please just send me an email, joe@twozapp.com.
We do have a designer named Nino.
He is the best.
And he's the best.
All right. The last slide, Liz, is just general Q&A. We're going to be looking at the chat a little bit. If you guys have any, yeah.
I was literally just doing that.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Okay, so if there's any more questions, obviously in this room, we'd love to answer them. Thank you guys again so much for spending the last hour with us. It means the world. We're very excited and open to your feedback. And in terms of, just questions, thoughts, anything else that you guys have in mind. But otherwise, we'll get you out of here. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. And obviously, everybody on the live stream, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to cut this up, hopefully so that it doesn't stink. And beyond that, thank you everyone for tuning in.
Cut. You guys are here for the rock cut.
Yeah, exactly.